All right, I'm just spreading some butter, so cut pats of butter onto hot, straight out of the oven, a loaf of sweet, dried apple and walnut soda bread. Soda bread's really easy to make because no kneading, no rising, and that kind of stuff. And then you add in things like, there's a little sugar dusting on top. There's the dried apples in here and the walnuts, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Let's have a piece here. Yeah, easy to make and a really great little something to eat as it is with a little bit of butter, or even just as it is without the butter. I like to eat it while it's still warm, and it's not going to last long. You get it out of the oven, you start slicing it up as soon as it's cooled down a little bit. Put some butter on there, just start to melt a little bit. Delicious. Great afternoon tea time or something like that. So let's go in the kitchen and make some right now. All right, so to make our sweet soda bread, well, there's not very many ingredients that we need. It's a really easy thing to make. So let's go across the front here first. What I've got over here is I've got 2/3 of a cup of small walnut pieces. So I've got to break them up. If they're bigger, just break them up a little bit. You want about 2/3 of a cup of that. Then across the front here, I've got 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Make sure you don't mix that up. That's baking soda, not baking powder. I was asked about this before. Baking soda will react with the yogurt, so we don't want to use baking powder in this, especially since this is soda bread. Then over here we have 1 egg. Over here I've got a 1/4 cup of sugar, my favorite unrefined cane sugar, kind of a light brown sugar. I've got another 2 tablespoons here. This is going to go separately. This is going to go as a topping. I've got a 1/4 cup of melted butter. Then over here, 2.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of yogurt, and here 1 cup of minced up dried apple. Now, the dried apple is an important point is, a lot of times when I ate dried apple in Canada, it was a very kind of a rubbery, dry apple, which would probably work quite well. I've never used it in this soda bread because I can't even get it here. What I get here instead is a bit more of a moist, wet, it's like chunks of apple. It says tart apple for this one, and it is a bit tart. Just a nice little bit of tartness, and a little sweetness. And inside is quite, as you see, quite moist. Stuck to me. All right, so if you can't get this kind of apple, this can be replaced with other dried fruits. Now, you could try chopped up dried apricots to be fantastic, I'm sure, in this. Pineapple for more of a pineapple bread. So raisins, a lot of times sweet soda bread is made with raisins. I'm not always a big raisin fan and things like that. And sometimes it's okay, like in a cinnamon roll. But so I prefer the dried apple if you can get it. But I say, anything else, mango would probably be really good too. So let's start mixing this all together. First thing I want to do is take a kind of a medium-sized bowl, and I'm just going to mix the wet ingredients. So let's get that egg in there and put it by itself. We can make sure we whisk it up well. So pop in the egg, grab a whisk, give that egg a quick beating. And then I'm going to add in the yogurt. Get all that in there. And I want to get in the melted butter. Let's get all that into there. Just make sure we get all of it. This adds a lot of juiciness. All right, so that's my wet ingredients together. Just give that a quick whisk together. So it's all combined. Well, that's looking good. Look at it right there. That's perfect. All right, put that off to one side for right now. Now, I'm going to get a bigger bowl and then go to the dry ingredients. So first of all, I like to put in the flour, the baking soda, the salt, and the sugar. Put all that to one side. I think get these guys out of the way for now. We don't need that egg anymore. And with that, I'll just take my wooden spoon. And all I do is mix it around until I'm sure that I've got the soda and the salt combined throughout. And then make a well in the middle, and in goes the dry ingredients, or the wet ingredients. All right, so let's get that all in there. All right, now mix it together. I don't want to beat it hard or anything like that. Like, I don't want to really work up the gluten much. That's why this is not a kneaded bread. So we just kind of bring it together until we've got a dough here. Now it's mostly done, so I'm going to add in the dried fruit, the walnuts, and mix some more. All right, when I get to a certain point, what I like to do is just get in there with my fingers. Start working it together. All right, oh, it was a little bit overboard. I kind of bring that around. You're gonna feel it's actually quite soft and wet. So you just want to get that little bit of dry that's left there, kind of worked into it a little bit. And we're getting the apple and walnut spread throughout. All right, that's about done it. Got a little bit of dry bit left in there. That's not much. So now what I do is take this, and notice I've taken a small loaf pan. I buttered it lightly so that the paper will stick to it, and just put some cooking paper in there. Now, stuff that down in there. Let's see if we can get any of these guys pushed in there. If not, well, baker's treats to eat those things afterwards. All right, so I kind of flatten it down a little bit. I like slightly rough surface because it kind of gives it character. So just a little bit flattened down, but leave it a little rounding, little bits and pieces. Now, I take sugar and I sprinkle that on top. Probably not going to use all this. I'd have 2 tablespoons there just in case I want to. That's going to be good enough this time, so a bit more right there. Yeah, so I probably used about a tablespoon and a half. It's up to you how much sugar you want to use on top. That's going to go in the oven over there. That oven is now heating up at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. This is going to bake in there slowly for an hour. I'll check it at 50 minutes and just see how it's coming along at that point. But just kind of keep an eye on it. You don't want it to burn or anything, but we want it to bake well. And then we're going to bring it out and give it the skewer test. So see you 50, 60 minutes from now. All right, look at that. It's absolutely looking beautiful on top. We got a little sugary crust up on there. And you can see here where it's been pulling apart as it rises. Smells great. Now my oven runs a little hotter, so I've only gone 50 minutes. Let's see how that did. So I'm going to run a skewer down into there. Now that's going to have to cook a little bit longer. So you see it's a little wet in there? Okay. That's going to go back in the oven now. I'm going to put that in for at least another 10 minutes. I guess the oven's not as hot as I thought. All right. See you back here. About 10 minutes or so, we'll check it again. All right, so that's gone the full 50 minutes. Let's do another check. Run this down inside there. Oh, I can feel crustiness. Yes. Yeah, that's good. Look at that. So now what you got is go down there and there's no more wet on the stick. So this is done. This is baked now. I'm going to let it cool on a rack. So, oh yeah, I forgot those go through. These ones, this wraps all the way around, so I can just lift it out, put it here on the rack. Let that cool down, and then I'm looking forward to having a slice of that. It's delicious. All right, look at that. Full of pieces of dried apple, walnuts. It's still steaming right now. This is gonna be great with some butter on it. If you like this recipe, stick around. There's a lot more original recipes here on Kuma's Kitchen. Also, make sure you subscribe because there's a new one coming out every Monday. You're not yet a patron? Well, make sure you become one. we can at least consider it, because hey, for as little as $3 a month, you can be supporting the creation of all these kinds of recipes here at Kuma's Kitchen. And also you get access to all the cool stuff that the patrons are getting access to right now on the Patreon feed. And now, go make this delicious soda bread and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.